Everybody, welcome back to the Rebel Chums channel. As you can see in the YouTube video title, we're gonna talk a little bit about the new Star Wars movies Rogue One. I went to the release in Hong Kong, I believe it was last Thursday, and I want to do my give you my feedback on what I thought about the movie. So there will be spoilers. There's a spoiler alert in the title, so if you don't want to see any you don't want to hear any of the spoilers before you go into the movie, just don't click on this video yet and just come back later. So I went to Rogue One with as little information as possible. That's the way I like to do it. So I take myself offline from whatever media there is and just avoid looking at spoilers, etc. all the time. And I have to say it was an amazing movie. It's a long movie. It's around 2.5 hours, I believe, totally, and it's action packed. It's action packed. It's quite different than any of the Star Wars movies we have seen so far. It's quite different than The Force Awakens, of course. It's a Star Wars movie for sure. It's definitely a Star Wars movie in my eyes, and this is where I got a little bit in the spoilers. It's really amazing how much it contributes to A New Hope. Like, after I've seen this movie, I wanted to go home and watch A New Hope immediately. And now I've watched A New Hope several times. It adds so much more depth to that movie for some reason. Well, that is the original Star Wars movie, but now has so much more meaning and power behind it. The emotions are much stronger now because you really know what happened right before that. It's just it's mind blowing how much that movie contributes to the old trilogy, the original trilogy. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's a really good addition. It's just overall it's an amazing movie. It's also quite different style in terms of the dialogues and the action and the subject matter. It's about getting the Death Star plans, and the way everything is, the whole movie pace, etc., and how it rolls. I've seen it before on in internet. It's true. It's much more European style of having such dialogues and how things are progressing. I really dig that. The only thing what I had was with the dialogues. Some of the dialogues personally I find they were a little bit muffled. Like, sometimes I couldn't really clearly understand what they were saying. Like they were talking blah, blah, blah. They were talking inside their mouth with the mouth half closed or something. It's certain parts of the conversation didn't clearly come out to me. It wasn't clearly for me to hear. Maybe that was also because some of the actors had a British accent, which normally is no problem for me, but the dialogues, how they pronounced it, was softer by tone, etc. So it was a little bit harder for me to follow at some points what they were saying, especially with the Imperial pilot that defected. I forgot his name. I will watch the movie one more 2 times in the cinema, so I will do a second video later with and I know all the names. But that person, I found it a little bit hard to follow. His voice or something, I couldn't really catch what he said a few times. And besides that, but the whole setting in this movie is fantastic. I love it. I love the opening. I love the fact that we see a lot of new planets. Like, what they have tried to do is open the world of Star Wars, made it a little bit broader, bigger than it is now. So there's amazing alien characters in there. There are amazing planets in there, new airspace ships, vehicles, droids that we never seen before, and I really dig that because that really opens new levels of expanding that universe even more and more and more. So I really like that, and yeah, it was just a very interesting movie. Just the whole flow was different. The music was quite different as well. I find the music not really rememberable. Till now, up to The Force Awakens, every main character has this very unique theme song that is unforgettable. But with Rogue One, I had like snippets of different themed music kicking in, like short theme songs for a few seconds, and then it was a little bit chaotic. The music didn't feel cohesive, and it didn't really flow into each other, and also they didn't feel really rememberable. So maybe if I watch the movie one or two more times, I will remember a little bit better if they have specific music for specific characters. But yeah, that really was a little bit lacking in my from my point of view. Um, in general, I'm don't get me wrong, I'm super stoked about this movie. It's just there's a lot to cover. The movie is a long seat. It's 2.5 hours. I have to admit, after 2 hours, I was a little bit like, what's gonna happen now? This is the seat felt a little bit longer at some point for me. It was like, yeah, I see a lot of battles, a lot of fighting. It drags on and it drags on, and um, I felt like it was a little bit prolonged. The movie. Um, I I to be honest, and that is my personal opinion. If the movie was made in 2 episodes before A New Hope, I think that would be better. So they had more time to explain more in depth each of the characters, like Krillic, etc. Then you see some historical background of that person before he gets to that position where he's at, or no, that relationship between him and Tarkin, and why it's so cool down and why it's so competitive. Also, very interesting in this movie, as I just mentioned, that name Tarkin is in here. So you see a 3D projection of Tarkin, so fully CGI. His voice, I don't know how they did it, but his voice is very spot on as well. And it's clearly throwing off a little bit from the fact you can definitely see it's CGI. But it's fine because it's only one or two characters that are in CGI. Leia is also in CGI. I rather have had that they just show the back of Leia in the end with the cape on her head and then maybe a little bit of the buns. They didn't have to show her face, just her voice or something. Because the 3D on her I found more lacking than on Tarkin. But yeah, I can like, if you're not a Star Wars fan and you go into this movie without any knowledge on Star Wars, then you would think, wow, what is this movie about? The flow is not really, yeah, it's a little bit wonky in my personal opinion, and I also think as a non Star Wars fan going to this movie, they might feel a little bit less pleased. This is definitely a fan pleasing movie, where The Force Awakens, that was more of a low entry movie for anybody that just likes Star Wars as well and not per se a big fan of it. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna watch it a few more times. Um, it's a little bit longer seat, so I don't know if I go more than 2 times, 3 times. I mean total. Just because I think, unlike The Force Awakens, I think if I have seen it 3 times in the cinema, I would be at ease. Then I say, yeah, I really experienced this movie when it came out in blah 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 when I'm older, and have that nostalgia about this movie. But I think 3 times would be sufficient for me, and I do highly recommend it. If you're a Star Wars fan, yeah, it's a no-brainer. If you like Star Wars and you think you're just a fan of science fiction, you just go there with a reserved mindset. Just enjoy a nice science fiction movie. Don't think it's the old trilogy or The Force Awakens. it's a fantastic quality movie, but it's just different, and it's not in line with the old Star Wars movies. So, you, by preparing yourself, there will be no disappointment, because it's a very good movie. Plus, oh my God, Vader was killing it in the end. That was so epic. I I want to see that back many times. How Vader just killed off entire squadrons of people in that hallway. That was insane. That is the Darth Vader that now grows on me. Now, never Darth Vader was never really a character that grew on me, because in the old trilogy he was a very stiff figure. They Luke and Vader, they were doing some fighting, but it was very static, and uh, it didn't feel like Darth Vader was like this imposing figure to me. It never was. Also because of the suit, it feels a little bit clunky. But in this movie, I felt like, yeah, he's down. He was a badass. That is still the Anakin that we know, the modern and much more vicious and evil person. And also we saw his castle. I forgot the planet name, but Darth Vader's castle is now canon. So you see his castle on top of a lava stream. It looks like a lava waterfall, lava fall, and it looks amazing. That conversation between Vader and Krillic in his castle, I found it a little bit odd. Just his suit, the Vader suit, looks a little bit different. His face, the face mask looks a little bit more, not cartoony, but it was a little bit more. It wasn't. It was softer. It was warmer. It didn't feel like so harsh. It felt like more round or something. And also his suit was a little bit sloppy or something. There was something about that suit that I had a little bit my conservations with. Yeah, fantastic voice performance from Earl. I forgot his full name. Sorry, but yeah, you can see the guy get older. His voice is definitely not as in A New Hope, but yeah, 40 years of time difference in between. So I'm still super happy he could make it in this movie, because let's be realistic. The original actors, in one way or another, get pretty old nowadays, and hopefully they're still along with us. But yeah, we have to treasure that every moment that they get now in these Star Wars movies. Might be no, there might be not much chance in the future to have those guys in new future Star Wars movies. So the more they're in now, we need to cherish that. But overall, yeah, fantastic movie. I highly recommend, of course, to go there. You probably watch this after you have seen the movie, just to compare what your opinion about it was. I really like the movie. It, as I said, it adds a tons of depth to A New Hope. Now, I did not imagine that would happen. Um, it just did, and it's amazing. The movie itself, on its own, as a whole, it's not is not my favorite movie. Just simply because there's Star Wars magic. There's absolutely Star Wars magic there. Don't let people fool you. There is definitely Star Wars magic there. There's a lot of fan pleasing, a lot of Easter eggs, but there is a. I know it's a war movie, like the Clone Wars, where there's a lot of fighting, etc. But I felt like the pace. Maybe that's my misconception, but I felt like it was only war, but only the subject was only the war itself. The fights in between. I feel like the actual slower pace in between in between the parts where they delve deeper into each of the characters, that was very shallow in my opinion. Of course, there were certain characters that got a good background story, such as Jen Erso's dad. He got a good background on why he was working on the Death Star and whatnot, and I really like that. and but the rest was just, yeah, they were there, and they're just there. Um, so that was a little bit unfortunate, I think, because this is the only movie that will happen before A New Hope. So we only have to do it with these movies and the characters in this movie. And I feel it left some doors were a little bit too open. Like I felt like I didn't know them well enough. I didn't know them well enough to say what to feel first a personal relationship with them. Also because almost a spoiler. This is a massive spoiler, of course, because nearly everybody or everybody dies in this movie in the end. That's it. Everybody dies. That's it. So you don't have the relationship with these main characters as much as with the other Star Wars movies. That's my personal opinion. I just felt like I there were characters, they were cool, but they didn't really thrill me. They didn't thrill me. Like, oh my god, they're dying. That is so horrible. No, most of the characters, they were side characters, and yeah, they were in this movie. But to be honest, they're in there for the plot. But I didn't had they really contributed anything to the Star Wars movie itself, because the funny thing is they're like a team. They team up and then get the plans, the Death Star plans. But I didn't feel like they really contributed anything in the movie. They're just there for the plot, to fill up the plot story, and but not as a character in the Star Wars universe and doing their own thing and having their own life. It's just like, especially that Imperial pilot. I don't know. I just felt like he was just there for the plot, and he didn't really. It wouldn't have mattered to me if he was in that movie or not. To be honest, he could be captured and killed before the movie started, and I would be happy with it. It's just the character didn't add much. Unlike, for example, uh, was it Ip Man? uh, he is amazing. He is definitely force sensitive, trained by Jedi's till his maximum potential, probably. He added a lot of depth to the movie because you see more the Jedi and the Sith as a church, as a cult, and they have their protectors and their followers, and that's interesting that we never really saw that before. You just had the Jedi and the Sith, and they were fighting, but there was a whole religious story behind them and a lot of followers, and a lot of people in general just believing in the Force, etc. So that was very interesting to see more about that. Um, yeah, his companion with the big ass machine gun on his back, like the tank, and in his hand. That character, yeah, I don't know. Again, he was just there for the plot. He did some shooting. I was hoping to see more of the aliens. In the trailers, we got to see the very cool aliens shooting the machine gun from the spacecraft at the ATDP, and most of those characters, or the big white guy with the long hair with the basket on his back, I just seen him a few scenes and that's it. So I wish the cast was a little bit more alien from the cast of the goodies that tried to get the stuff, than just only the human characters, which were a little bit too much in that specific group of cast that has to get the Death Star plants that got the most screen time. The other ones were just doing some side roles, fighting, few scenes, dying, and that's it. Um, they also showed more about the boat hands, and that so many died for the Death Star plans. And yeah, the massacre on the end in the battle with the spaceships in between was really cool, done very nice. I liked it. Again, the CGI looked a little bit different than the other movie CGI. It's a little bit different. I don't know if it's better or worse. It just looks different. And that's it for now. So you definitely want to go check out the movie. I downplay it maybe a little bit in this video, but honestly, it's a great movie. Gonna watch it many times, discover more and more layers. It's just my first initial impression, and it it's a fantastic movie, but it didn't excite me as much as The Force Awakens. But it did super massively added so much more depth and value and interest in A New Hope for me than it ever have done before, because A New Hope was always of the original trilogy was on the bottom, and then we have the Empire the highest and Jedi in the middle, and now it's like, wow, New Hope is is an awesome movie. Yeah, so I hope you liked the video. Please like the video, subscribe if you want to. More lightsaber reviews keep coming, of course, on the weekly basis. I'm still waiting for my Vader's Fold Havocs. I was hoping I got them this week, but apparently custom powder coat jobs on one of my sabers are taking longer, so probably maybe in the early next year. And also there will be different brands of lightsabers reviewed again. There will be a JQ saber being reviewed very soon, and I'm very stoked about that, because I like the design of that particular saber. So look out for that. And besides that, vintage Star Wars videos every once in a month, doing a pack of vintage Star Wars toys as a review. And that's it. Nothing more. Hope you liked the video, and let me know what you think about Rogue One, either in the comments or in the video response. I would love to have a discussion with you. Also, guys, let me know if you want to have any Skype conversations, so I can set it up, and then we can just talk live on Skype, and then just broadcast that on Facebook or Facebook, YouTube. Anyway, take care, stay scummy, and see you in the next video. And I'm gonna push the button. Bye.